My name is Janine Crooks, and I put this panel together, and I want to thank everyone for spending some time with us today. I know how valuable the time is and how many sessions you could choose, so we really appreciate you choosing ours. We hope you give you a lot to know by the end of the day, and some extra stuff that you're ready to be able to go out and use to help grow your businesses. For starting off, what I wanted to do is just kind of quickly cover how the session format is going to work, because we have a lot of points that we're going to cover. We're going to be flying through them kind of quickly. And we broke one of the cardinal rules in that we have so many slides. There's no way you're going to be able to write it down. So don't even try. Don't make yourself crazy. Listen to what we're talking about and take notes on that. Anybody who'd like a copy of the slide deck, one will be available through Affiliate Summit. If you want to get it faster than that, please just feel free to give me your business card, and I'll get it emailed out to you within the next day or two. One of the things that I think is also important to know is that at the end of each one of the points, we have a resources slide that's got all the URLs, all the links in it that you'll need for the stuff that we just discussed. So don't worry about frantically trying to, because it's never as easy as, something.com. It's always something.com/blah, so we wanted to make sure that we got all that information to you. And then what we'll do probably, if you wouldn't mind, is hold the questions to the end. We've kind of got this timed out to allow time for questions at the end. And also, since we're the last session before lunch, we're happy to stay here if you want to stay here and be able to chat with us. We'll be glad to share everything we know and see any way that we can to help you. So now what I'd like to do is just introduce our amazing panel, because I'm very, very proud of them. First off, we have Shannon Vogel, and Shannon is the owner of the Bee Scene, which is a social media company. So they do training, management, and consulting. They've been doing it since 2006. And as Shannon likes to put it, she eats, drinks, sleeps, social media. And honest to God, it's true, because we both live in the same town, so I know her really well, and she does live for social media, so we're very, very lucky to have her. Next to Shannon is Jen Myers-Ward, and Jen is the CEO of Ebove and Beyond, a company that she's had for 10 years. That's she's been in the industry, though, for 15, and she actually was one of the people that helped get Amazon going in the UK, especially. She opened France and Germany, so this lady knows what she's doing, and we're glad to have her. Ebove and Beyond does affiliate marketing. They're also very good at email and site conversion, so they're very powerful, and I work with them as a client, so I know what they're like. They're great. And then finally, our last person, our gentleman, token male on the floor, right, is Mike Allen. And Mike is the founder and chief executive shopper at shoppingbargains.com. He's been in affiliate marketing since 1999, so he's really watched how the industry has evolved along the way. And he's been in it full time since 2004. So he's giving us a lot of the benefit of his wisdom, of some of the successes he's had, of some of the challenges that he's had and some of the losses, some of the places where he spent some money and wished he hadn't, but he got the lesson out of it. And so hopefully that'll help everybody here to, kind of make some different choices or know what it is that you might be talking about. So why don't we go ahead and get started, and, oops, okay, there's our panel. We'll give you the contact info again later. So here's the things that we wanted to cover today. We're going to do the 7 things you should always do, 5 things to never do, and then 6 ways to customize using Facebook, Pinterest, LinkedIn, and Twitter. So different ways to really get out there and use social media. I mean, it's so wonderful. It's free. It's out there. It's just waiting for us to use if you use it smart. If you make some bad mistakes, you could really get punished for it. So that's what we want to do, is help you avoid those as well. So we're going to start off with 7 things to always do. And the very first one is to practice good social behavior. So one of the things that you want to do is always do something else for others. I mean, that really matters. So repin on Pinterest. Come on, you. There we go. Retweet on Twitter. I mean, how many times you've seen something that you like and you just sit there? You've enjoyed it, share it. You know what, you're showing love to the people that are following you on Twitter, and you're also giving a hug to the person who put that up in the first place. People remember when you retweet their stuff, so make sure that you do it. Share or comment on Facebook. My husband's a professional photographer. He puts up pictures all the time, and people like them, and they look at them, they'll click on the link or whatever, but they don't bother actually clicking the like button. It makes him crazy. He's like, I don't know if I should even bother doing this anymore, because I don't know that anybody really likes him. And yet I'll have people all over here who are like, oh, Brad's picture on, whatever, it was so wonderful. Tell him that, and people that you do that for too will really enjoy that. Writing a guest post on someone's blog, commenting that you enjoyed their article, maybe you wanted to discuss a point, all those things, I mean, they sound silly and little and simple, but it's one way that you're going to really expand your presence in the industry, in the marketplace. People are going to learn who you are because you're leveraging your presence in social media. You know, if they see you online, they're going to take advantage of it. One of the things that was one of my goals here is we just signed the Madame Tussaud affiliate program to Affiliate Window. I'm an account manager there. And so I took a tour to Madame Tussaud's on Saturday and took a bunch of people through there. But the people that I took through were very good about doing things like tweeting about it, posting pictures on Facebook. We had so many comments that I had all these people coming up to me going, hey, how was Madame Tussaud's tour? And I only used Facebook and Twitter to promote it. So being able to do that internally is very, very powerful. You can start a buzz on something with just a couple of posts. The other thing to do is to say thank you. You know, if somebody likes something that you've done, if they have commented on your post, you know, like them back or something like that, or say, hey, thanks for the comment. It's good social etiquette. It's a good way to make sure that, you know, people know that you're involved in the conversation. And acknowledge others. I think that's a really important point, because when you do that and let them know that you're seeing their stuff, they're going to make sure that they see your stuff, and so it goes on. And then also, one of the most powerful things to do is give a free webinar. There's a lot of opportunities to do that. You know, Affiliate Summit frequently invites guests to come and to speak into their program. There's a lot of other opportunities to do that. So if you're at a point or a place in your business where that's appropriate for you, you know, do it. Yeah, you may spend a couple hours getting it ready. You may spend an hour putting it together and presenting it. You may spend a little bit of time trying to answer the questions afterwards, but it's definitely worth it. Okay, so we'll pass these. The next one is listen and learn, and for that, Shannon is going to help us. So, Shannon?
Thank you. So, everybody's heard the phrase that you have 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. There's a reason. So, if you think about social media sites, think about all of the pieces and parts of people's profiles that they have to fill out. You can learn from that information. Think about all the things that people are posting. Every day of the week, when I tell everybody to listen and learn, they say, yeah, but people don't really have things that are that interesting to say. People are talking about grilled cheese sandwiches and kids having to pee in class and whose baby's diaper pooped their pants. All of that stuff may seem like useless information to you, but if you can flip your thinking around and use that as a tool, people are begging for solutions. They're out there complaining and whining, yes, on social media sites, and yes, it's annoying, but they're looking for solutions. So if you'll use sites like, who's used search.twitter.com? Unbelievable resource. So if you think about on Twitter, people are posting every 15 seconds. Sometimes they'll post 100 times a day. They're saying everything that you could possibly want to know. Because it's Twitter, it's one big ginormous algorithm that you basically get to spy on people's conversations with a filter. So you get to say, I only want this word, I only want these keywords, I only want it in this location. You can ask people, you can find out if they want positive, negative, or if they're asking a question. So if you think about, if there's something that you want to know, if you want to know what your customers need, go to search.twitter.com, fill out the keywords or the key phrases that you want to know, and you can click the button to look at everybody that's asking a question, jump in, and that's your opportunity to create a conversation. That conversation, we want to turn into a relationship, because the only way you're getting people to connect with you through social media is text, link, video, or image. They don't know you as a person yet, so help them get to know you as a person by first listening. And that's good. Everything we're going to talk about today all boils back down to some kind of relationship. So think about different friendships, relationships, marriages, and kind of relate everything back to that. So listen to what people are complaining about and find a way to help them. And if you're scratching your head saying, oh my God, I'm so busy, I don't have time to do anything extra, you need to make the time. You can use search.twitter.com when you're sitting in line at the bank on your phone. Just look and see what people are saying. And if you don't have to, if you're not comfortable with answering questions, at least see what they're talking about. See what their needs are. See what they're, like I said, see what they're whining about. And then go see what your competition is doing. Find out what they're doing, and then do it better. Because you have the opportunity to spy on everyone. So decide who you want to spy on, stalk them a little bit in a very gentle way, think about a relationship, and then just listen and pay attention. It's very important to incorporate into your strategy, listening as much as you talk. We're going to get into a little bit more about your voice and the things that you should and shouldn't do when you're talking, but really try to keep in mind that you want to schedule into your day time to listen to what people are asking for. I'm going to stop there because I could not shut up for days.
Facebook and all the other ways to do it, because those were others on here, right?
So these slides, we're not going to roll through these, but this is an amazing infographic that I cut up that tells you the age, the education level, how many users, everything you need to know, all of the user data about each of the individual tools. So just know that you have this resource when we email it to you. I'm not going to read stats to you, but if you're a stats guy, then this is jam-packed with all the information you need per tool.
And once again, the resources page, that's why we're like, let us email you the thing, because we've got all the links on there for you to make it a lot easier. Okay, next we're going to talk about doing more than just posting. So Mike, I think you're going to help us out with that?
Yes, like Shannon just said, social media is a chance for a conversation, so it needs to be two-way. So, not just talking, but listening and interacting. And it's a great opportunity when somebody likes what you do. You might find out, ask them, well, what else could I do that you would like? What else could I write about? What else could I share that you would like? So it's a chance for a free suggestion box. So great things to do. And you might follow what they do, like what they do, and get more interaction that way with them. See what other platforms. They might be a Twitter user and you're on Facebook. So go ahead and try to follow what they do and interact more that way as well. Looking specifically at some of the different social media platforms, let's look at Pinterest. And that one, actually, I've just started using it a few weeks ago. It kind of caught me by surprise, but it's really powerful. Just amazing what's happening there. And I think there's so much opportunity. But when you pin an image up there, you have 500 characters to explain why you're pinning the image. And some neat things you can do with that. Every image, you can attach a URL, so you have a link to that image. Now, here's a little SEO possibility for you. The link that you use for the image, Pinterest puts a no follow tag on it. But if you drop a link in the description, the 500 characters that you have to explain why you're pinning the image, then currently, now that could change any moment, but currently there's not a no follow tag. So you might get some SEO benefit from that. So just a little strategy there to think about if it's appropriate to drop a link. You don't want to spam or anything, but use that with discretion, but it's quite an opportunity. Another thing about if there's a price, if you found this great pair of shoes that you like, you might explain where you bought it. You can put the price in the description, and then Pinterest will put that price like a little ribbon on it. And so that's how you get that additional detail up there. Hashtags can be used in Pinterest, and then that makes it easier for people to search and for your content to show up as well. So, be sure also we got on the screen there how to find out what people are pinning about your site. Some really good information there, and it's a chance to interact with your fans. If they like something on your site, you might start a conversation with them and see what else you could do, what else you could blog about that would be interesting to them. Another little, when you construct your site, little tip here about Pinterest. Not everyone uses those 500 characters. In fact, there's often nothing, just a picture put up. Well, you can give your readers a little bit of help by customizing your alt or your title tags, because Pinterest will pull that content in for the description. So you can use that to your advantage and give them at least a start. You can pin videos. You can also look for followers by location, by interest. And, I think back to the conversation thing, it's just really great to follow up these likes, these pins, just create the conversation, just keep it going. On the last slide here for this section, what do you do if you have just a lot of text and you want to get the concept across? There's a neat tool called Wordle, And you can pull, Wordle will take an RSS feed and create a tag cloud out of it as an image, and then you can pin that. And so that would be a neat way to, or even a web page they can take as well. So you could visually post the keywords for a blog post, for instance, on Pinterest. It's just a little creative tool there, it costs nothing.
Great. Thanks, Mike. Okay, and our next one is to pay attention, and for that, Jen's going to help us.
Pay attention. It beats the drum that we've hit already in terms of relationships. You need to think about it as a relationship, not an ad, not marketing, and it goes back to fundamentals of any relationship, really. You don't neglect the relationship. It would be like me saying, Shannon, can we be best friends? And she says, yes, and then I never call her again. So what was the point of reaching out, making the connection, and then dropping it? I mean, it's almost insulting to not follow up and keep that relationship going. It reminds me, it's kind of like shaving. Once you start, you can't stop. So you need to keep the conversations going and build a relationship. I think that's key is think of it as a relationship, not an ad and not marketing. And shave. Yep, sorry. And as far as pre-scheduled content goes, there's resources out there to be able to do that, to keep you active if you find yourself busy and you have an idea and you want to schedule it for a certain time around a certain event. But be very careful with that. Don't set it and forget it, because if some natural disaster happens and your content's completely inapplicable or insensitive, it can really do a lot of harm to the efforts you've been making to build the relationship. If something like a Katrina happened or what have you, you want to be sensitive to what's going on in the world as well. So pre-scheduling is good, but you just need to keep your eye on it.
Absolutely. Great. And our next point is to measure, analyze, and revise. Shannon?
So I know it's not very exciting to think about anything other than posting, because all everybody wants to do with social media is just talk, and generally you want to talk about yourselves, and we're going to get to that in a minute because you're going to knock that off. But you need to pay attention to what's actually happening and what's working, because just because you have in your mind what you think is going to work, that may not be what your customers want. And there's so many tools out there that are easy for you to know what they want. You need to constantly measure what you're doing and revise your whole process, because social media changes every day. Social media is changing people, it's changing their behavior. So you need to keep up with your growing community. So right now, say if you have 100 fans on your Facebook page, and by the time you leave here, you learn some things that are going to get you 1,000. Think about going from 100 to 1,000. The 100 right now are probably your best friends' kids, your mom, your dad, your sister, your aunt, your brother, because you had to do something to get started. As that community grows, that's going to give you so much more information to be able to figure out what your voice should be, what your posts are that are successful, what the best time of day to post is. And all of these things are important because you don't want to put the energy and effort into social media, which, P.S., is a lot of manual labor. If you think you're going to slap up a Facebook page and all the billion people that are on it are just going to come running in and give you money, you got the wrong impression about social media. So it's a lot of manual labor, and if you're going to go through that process, you might as well at least take some time to analyze what's working, what's not working, who your audience is, and then constantly revise it, because like I said, people are changing, social media is changing, and it's critical to pay attention. So the resource slide that you're going to get is going to show you some things like how to have trackable links so you can see which links are working, who's looking at them. We've got a site for the best times and days to post for your audience. The best times and days to post that you'll see on like national statistics, that's factoring in everything from Coca-Cola, panty salesman, beer, everything that might not have anything to do with you. If you have a niche audience, then it's really important to know when your audience wants to receive their message. We've got some other tools to show you Pinterest analytics, which is awesome to see who is repinning your stuff. Because if you have the opportunity to identify your influencers and the people that actually care and that are connecting with you, make those people your brand ambassadors, because your ultimate goal after creating a conversation is getting to that relationship. The biggest value and benefit of that relationship is we want them to spread the word about you on their social sites. So if you think about when if Ashley, you and I have an amazing conversation, just the two of us, That's awesome, because you might remember to tell somebody, you might not. But if we have this awesome, open communication and relationship on the internet, it's out there for everybody to see. It's out there for them to see when they want to see it, not when you decided to deliver it, right? So the very best thing that can happen out of our relationship is you say, oh my God, that's the best advice you've ever given me. Let me tell all my friends. Or that's the best product I've ever seen. Let me share it with my community. Women love to talk and women love to share. So make it easy for them to share your content with their community, because you're going to have a lot more reach.
Great, thank you. And then our next point, actually, we've got even more resources on that particular one. But point number 6 is to stay informed. Jen?
Read, read, read. If you take anything away from this, as we all know, social media changes every day. Facebook changes their layout every other day, but so you need to stay on top of that. I mean, I can't enforce this enough. There's lots of tools. There's a few listed up here, Mashable, Social Media Examiner, up on the resource slide, and they all kind of have a different voice, if you will. Mashable tends to be a bit more technical, and maybe that appeals to you. The Social Media Examiner is a bit lighter, so you just need to find one that you can resonate with and set up, either go daily or have them send you emails, and take a minute, just stop and read and stay informed on what's going on, because it is a very fluid industry. I mean, it's happening right now. It's not like a website you put up there and, yeah, you change it every now and then, add stuff. It's happening right now. It's in real time. It's very fluid, and so staying informed is one of your biggest tools, I guess you will. So as long as you read every day, and if you can't, and that's a lot, then you can always seek someone else out in the industry to help that knows what to do. So
Excellent.
read.
And I know that these are hard to read. That's part of the reason why we want to be able to email it to you, because when we tried to switch it to black, it screwed up the entire presentation, and I didn't want to do that to you. I'd rather have the slides and email them to you later. So that's why we want to make sure we've got the links. Okay, our next one is to be like a Boy Scout and be prepared. So Shannon?
Okay, so the worst thing you can do with social media, one of the worst things, there's a lot of bad things you can do, but one of the worst things to do is to not be prepared. Oh, so if you think about it, if you are managing your own posts and managing your own social media and you're not outsourcing it, then you have a full-time job to do. This is what you probably think right now, this is a very small portion of your job. So you're going to get all fired up, hopefully, when you leave here, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to have a schedule, and I'm going to follow my schedule, and it's going to be awesome. And then you're going to check your email, and it's going to be full from all the things that you missed because you were paying attention at Summit. Your social media plan is going to either get buried, or you're going to be so stressed out, like on any given Wednesday, that you're going to stare at your computer screen and say, I got nothing. I can't even think of anything to post. So if you will take advantage of, if you get a creative spurt, like when you're on the plane, or I don't care if you're in the bathroom driving down the road, whenever you get your inspiration, if you get fired up, then make a list of posts, write down 10, 20 posts, either the actual post or the ideas, and then pre-schedule them somewhere so that when you do get stuck and you have a brain fart and you can't produce any content, then you've got that database. But then keep in mind what Jen said, that you have to be very sensitive to, if you're one of those overachievers and you get fired up and you schedule stuff 6 months out, you really have to pay attention to the news, because, like she said, the worst thing that could possibly happen is there's a natural disaster and you say, I've got a really great sunshiny product that I'd like for you to buy today. And you'd look like an insensitive ass. So really pay attention to that. That'll definitely help you avoid burnout. And the more prepared you are, the easier the whole process will be, because you'll get overwhelmed with all the fun tools that you can play with and all the different things you can do. So it's just a good idea in business anyway to be prepared. So put your Girl Scout hat on, your Boy Scout hat on, and be prepared. And what?
Complaint jar.
Oh, and the complaint jar. Okay, so people ask me all the time, what should I post? So we'll go through a bunch of different things to post. Regardless of what your industry is, I tell everybody to have a complaint jar. Because how many of you get the same stupid question from your customers over and over and over, and you say, how could you be so stupid? How do they not know the answer to this? This is so easy. It's easy for you because you do it every day. So again, this ties back into paying attention to those questions that people ask every day. So I recommend that you have a complaint jar. It can be a virtual complaint jar, like a Dropbox folder, where if you have employees, or you can do this for yourself, write down the things that people are complaining about, or write down the things that people are not satisfied with, and take that frustration, and instead of being cranky when you go home to your spouse, flip it around and turn that into an educational post. Use that to teach somebody, because if 2 people have asked you the same question, I assure you there are 500 other people out there that have that same question. So that's actually one of the best pieces of content you can give, because the more time I spend with you, I'm gonna beat in your head to give free, helpful advice with no strings attached. And that's kind of the key to success with social media, is nobody wants to hear your sales pitch because yours is just like everybody else's. So if you can think about that complaint jar, whether it's virtual or an actual jar, take those issues and flip them around into a positive experience and educate your community.
Great, thanks. Okay, now it's time to move on to the 5 things to never do. And we're going to start off with that. Number 1 is don't over-promote or sell. And for that, Mike is going to help us.
You know, we can smell some salespeople a mile away when they're coming up. You just know, oh, I'm about to be sold to. Cold calls, you can almost hear it in the ring, you know. And we don't want that, and we don't go to social media to get that. And so we come for conversations. Now, we might want to sell. I mean, most of us here probably do want to sell something, but we have to be a lot more creative about how we do it. So our first thing is, don't ever look at social media like it's just your giant billboard. If you really need to get in between somebody and have a conversation, then buy a sponsored ad or something. You know, if you need to insert yourself that way, then get an ad. But basically, just don't invade somebody's personal space, because they can cut you off quickly, unfriend you, you're gone. So you've lost your chance there. So, you know, I think social media really is great for your brand to be always in the back of their mind. It's a chance for you to think product placement in that sense and humanize your brand, but not in your face with it. So when they're ready to buy, and they'll know, and they'll remember you hopefully, and then you've got the chance to close the deal. But you've got to wait for them to be ready. We kind of jumped ahead of myself talking about advertising.
That's okay.
But this is another thing. A lot of people in the past, and Facebook in particular, has changed on promotions and sweepstakes, and this. You got to pay attention to this part and read up on it always before you do it, because Facebook changes a lot. But there's a lot of things you can't do with rewards and sweepstakes. You can't notify winners through Facebook. You can't do hardly anything with Facebook. You need to use a third-party app to do any of this, collecting names. So there's a lot of several slides that you can look at later, but on kind of the legal side. But Social Media Examiner has a great plain English what to do, what not to do about this. Bottom line, don't do it unless you follow the rules, or they can close you down. And Shannon knows some stories of people that have been closed down just overnight. One guy had 12,000 followers, lost them all, had to start over. So,
sorry to interrupt, but they don't send you a little love note. They don't give you a warning. They don't do anything other than say, you violated our terms of use, you're done. And they don't even tell you what you violated. If you break the rules, they expect you to follow them. So when you break them, I don't care how much love and effort and energy you've got. I don't care if you've spent money on Facebook ads. They will shut you down. So do not promote on your wall, period.
You can't even use the like button as a voting mechanism. So, you know, I'll pick one of you who likes this page. Just be really careful about these kind of things. Facebook cover photos, another area, and I've seen violations of this, but this is a chance to humanize your brand, the hero shot, kind of soft image, something just give a warm, fuzzy feeling, but not to be a promotion. You can't have pricing or purchase information on your cover photo. You can't have contact information. You can't have ask people to like or share with your cover photo. No calls to action. So you just got to be really careful about this as well. So think about those things also. We've got couple slides of references. and resources to help with these things, so be sure to check those out, especially I think the Social Media Examiner article I found really helpful because it's plain English and it's hard to understand terms and conditions sometimes. Our second thing never to do is don't be lazy, and we've already heard a little bit about that, but some people have the idea, and in the early days, probably a lot of us did this, I did some of it, but you kind of link your social media account so that if it's posted on Facebook, it'll go out on Twitter, and then you can, excuse me, you can have tools that will automate a lot of this, and you think, well, that makes sense. Then I write it once, and it goes out to all 5 of these different accounts. It doesn't always make sense. Sometimes you can do a little bit of that automation, but it's really like you don't want all your Twitter replies going out on Facebook because they're only seeing part of the conversation. So, but the other hand, usually most of your Facebook content, what you post there, could go out on Twitter. So you just have to think that through and be careful what you link up. I've seen this where people will just dump a link into Twitter or sometimes just retweet. And I think it's a great idea to explain what the link is, why it's important, why you liked it. And I like with a retweet, explain why you thought it was worth retweeting. And then it doesn't just look like, you don't just see RT first, but you actually see a little comment and then a link to it. You don't even have to let people know it's a retweet. But so, those are some little things to do. And then just the general, maybe for newbies in particular, you think, it's easy to think, I got a Facebook account, there's 900 million people, I'm going to be successful here. It takes a lot of work, and it takes time. So don't give up, and just keep working it. A little bit more about Twitter here. I'm not a big fan of auto replies, and especially auto direct messages. I don't appreciate it, and there are some chances, maybe, like the only thing I could think of, like for an auto direct message, would be if I'm signing up for something where I know they're going to give me the white paper, and they tell me up front that it'll come as a direct message, auto reply, then I'm okay with it. But I don't want the generic little auto reply. So
Can I tell a little story on that one?
yeah, please.
So if you think about sending an auto reply like everybody does, which everybody says, thank you for following me, you can connect with me on my Facebook page here. Everybody does that because it's hard as hell to get Facebook fans. Not the time and place to do it, because if you have a database where you're sending out an auto DM to customers that you already have, I am going to be pissed if we have a relationship and then you decide to tell me about your Facebook page. I know, I already like you, I already follow you. You've just ruined all that you've worked for by sending me, you're making me just another fish in the sea. That's not making me feel important. It's not making me feel connected. That's not how you start a relationship. You don't say the same thing. Well, you might, you shouldn't. If you when you meet people at Summit, you don't walk up and say the same thing to the same person no matter what. So be very careful with your automated messages and get creative. But for God's sakes, don't try to sell, because nobody is going to buy from you because you sent them an automated DM. So use it wisely. Thank you, Mike.
Yeah, I think proofreading is important as well, especially if you're using a smartphone with autocorrect. It's really just,
Take the time.
you all know how that is. So another thing that I've seen a lot on LinkedIn, and particularly in the past, but somebody will set up an account and not put a picture. And I don't know, which Mike Allen is this. There's a bunch of Mike Allens. So a picture is just really great. And then the friend request, I think it's friend request, but invites to network on LinkedIn. There's the canned message, but go ahead and explain that we met at Affiliate Summit and wanted to keep up in touch, and you might mention something we talked about. I'm more likely to go ahead and let you join my network here than if it's just the canned message. So little thing just takes a few seconds to do, but I find it helpful. And one other thing about Facebook invites for Facebook events, we've probably all gotten invitations for an event that, there's no way we can go to. It's 3,000 miles away. So I think those should be hand-selected, those kind of things, just to help people out. We've talked about contests. Again, I can't stress that one enough, about Facebook. Follow those rules on there. And I'm getting ahead of myself. But one other thing on all the social media accounts, a lot of times people try to grab all their URLs to protect them. And I don't have a problem with that, but I wouldn't go promoting them if you're not doing anything on the account. You can grab it and hold it, but don't list it all on your website and then do nothing with it. So having nothing would be better than having no URL, no link to Facebook, Twitter, whatever. It would be better than having a blank account that showed that you were inactive.
Okay, one more time and I'm going to shut up, I swear.
Oh, no,
But
I'm
if you're
done.
going to grab the URL, if you feel like, because I know a lot of you out there are like, but I got to get it.
Yeah.
So go get it, but at least leave a message that says, something cute and funny and personal and human, like, we're working so hard to get the best content for you, just sit tight, we'll be back. And that's okay, but otherwise people translate your lack of use to how you run your business. So if they think you're the kind of quick and dirty person that just sets up a site and walks away, you don't want them to think that's how you run your business.
Thank you. Okay, next is don't act desperate. And for that, Jen is going to help us.
No, I feel like this is like dating advice. Begging is not attractive in any case. Even my dog at the dinner table, it is not attractive. If you have good content and you're bringing a solid, bonus to the relationship, if you will, people will follow you because you're educating them, and they're not going to follow you because you go, oh God, please post me, follow me. So I mean, I could talk about it on and on, but I think we all understand that begging is not attractive. It, as Shannon just said, translates into how they look at your business. So you really need to think about that kind of stuff. And the last slide, again, I feel like
Go for it.
this is, do not drink and text, post, anything. We've all heard these stories. You think it's funny at the time. It is not going to be so funny the next morning, or what have you. So, I mean, you need to think about that kind of thing. It sounds obvious, but it happens all the time. You'd be amazed. Pictures that you think are really funny the night before, now all of a sudden they're all over the internet. So, again, just be careful with that as well.
Definitely. Okay. We're also going to talk about don't be selfish. So Shannon, you're going to help us with that one.
So social media, believe it or not, is not all about you. Social media is about your customers. So we talked about this a little bit before. When you're trying to decide what you're going to post, give your customers what they want. Put yourself in their shoes and give them the information that they're going to find helpful in order to buy your product, connect with you, do whatever it is you want them to do. So if you think about we'll pick on women for a little bit. If you think about when women are using social media, they're at home at night after they put the kids to bed, feet on the coffee table, glass of wine in their hand, in their bathrobe, checking out their news feed, seeing who went out to dinner, who had a baby, blah, 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 blah. You don't want to be the guy that has your pre-scheduled sales pitch in there that punches them in the face and says, buy from me, buy from me, buy from me. When they're in this mindset, when people are on Facebook, they're not in a mindset to be sold. And like Mike said, all this stuff happens in the back of the brain. Your job is to keep yourself present. Your job is to give free, helpful advice with no strings attached. Your job is to ask about them, ask them questions, get feedback, get them involved, but stop talking about yourself so much. And if you have to talk about yourself, find some way to relate it back to how it's going to help your customer. Because again, you can turn this into an opportunity to provide a solution for them. And a great quote I heard to tie into this is, be more interested than interesting. So when you go out, you're all cutting up and you're drinking, there's that one guy at the table that's, look at me, I got the best story, I can one-up you, blah, 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 blah. Shut your mouth, sit back and listen, use your two ears, shut your one mouth, and be interested in what they have to say, because that's really going to launch you into having a better chance at a relationship, which is, again, what we're trying to get back to.
And our last point is, don't do it if it doesn't feel good.
How
Jen?
do I get all of these? Basically, this has to do with if it smells like, as Shannon would say, I have to quote, if it smells like a pile of shit, it probably is a pile of shit. So, don't take the risk of putting something out there that's spammy or overly salesy. If you have to ask yourself, I don't know, is this kind of too salesy or is this spammy? It probably is. So if you ask the question, we know you know the answer already. So in that case, it's better to say nothing at all than it is to come across in that manner, which is, actually, I'm from the South, and my mom always said, if you can't say something nice, don't say anything at all. It works here, too. So,
On to the next one.
Okay.
No, your point.
Oh,
What's
she's
the next
giving
one?
it, she's
Social
giving it
media.
up. She's giving it up.
Oh, really?
Okay, so poor Jen has had to talk about relationships, and
I know, I feel like the dirty one up here.
so I'm going to take over for a second. If none of this is resonating with you right now, I'm going to give you an example that brings it home for something that hopefully everybody in this room has had a chance to experience and connect with. Social media is a lot like sex. Couple things. How many people are married in this room? Relationship, married, together, whatever. Keep your hand up. How many of you are in a good relationship? Okay. It's very basic. People are simple people. Think about, and forgive me, but this is just, I'm going to get to the point. Think about what you do that gets you laid. Think about what you do that actually works. Because if you walk up to somebody, guy walks up to a girl at Summit, and if you walk up to somebody and say, "Hi, I'd like to have sex with you," what are your chances? Let's see, slim to none. What's going to give you a better chance? "Hi, how was your day? What's going on with you? Gee, you look pretty today." Especially if your clients are women, we're pretty basic and we're pretty simple. Tell us we're pretty, tell us we're smart, ask about us, quit talking about yourself, and you have a lot better chance of getting what you want. So, and if you have a good relationship, think about either the obvious or, what makes your spouse say something nice to you, or what makes your best friend do something nice for you, and back that up to the basic principle of, what did I do? Did I ask about them? Was I nice? Basic human relationship all boils down to it. The other point that it ties into, if you want to have good sex and a lot of sex every day, not just a one-night stand, you have to work for it. It's not just, and this is hard because I'm looking, there's some young guys in here. You'll grow up and this will make sense. But if you want to have sex on a regular basis, you have to work for it. So you have to put in the time and the effort. You have to court your customer. You have to give them virtual flowers. You have to give them virtual love. And just keep that relationship, keep it sexy, keep it alive, keep it going. And you'll have longer, better, more meaningful relationships.
I feel like we're a dating panel.
Yeah. Well, it's very simple. People are people, and all of this stuff is about a relationship. And again, not to beat it into your heads, but if you have to connect with somebody and make them, people shop with people. So if they're going to shop with you, you have to be human. And if you're going to be human, at least try being funny, but you have to at least do something to get them to connect with you. So I feel like everybody can, forget all these tools and links and things, get to those later, but get the basic fundamentals of this is about a relationship, and a relationship generally has to start with a conversation. And yes, could you meet somebody in the hallway, click right away, and have sex that night? Fantastic. But is that going to get you anywhere in the long run? And is anybody going to be proud enough of that to share about your relationship on Facebook? No. If it's a good, long-term, healthy relationship, that's where you're going to get the shares and the likes and the good quality exposure. Because the other thing I say all the time is, don't do anything that you wouldn't want to see on the front page of the paper. And this actually happened to me. I was sitting in the airport. Some guy asked if he could take a picture because I had like 19 devices in my lap and chargers and things hanging out of all my electronics. And he said, "Can I take your picture?" One of my customers emailed me and said, "I'm pretty sure I just saw you on the front page of the business section in the New York Times." All the color drained from my face because I thought, oh God, where was I and what have I done? So don't do anything you wouldn't want to do and be proud of, just like this relationship. So think about a good, long, healthy
And that one you could be proud of.
relationship. One that you can be proud of.
Yeah, okay. Okay, what we're going to do now is move on to 6 ways to customize social media to generate sales. So we're going to probably move through these a little bit on the fast side. It's already 12:15, but we still have lots of good stuff to share. So we're going to start off first with target community members. Shannon?
Back to me. So you want to give your community what they want, and you can give them what they want if you know who they are. So you can target people, and sorry, this is kind of mechanical, but you can target people with Facebook, and I'm from the South, so I'm going to roll through this really fast. You can target them by location, age, gender, interest, education, other pages that they like. Take advantage of that. Think about who your customer is, and think about what they want, but then think about what else they do. Think about their other interest. So if you, for example, I don't know, sell watches, luxury watches on the internet, you can go target people, because again, this is all around, you have to go all the way around the whole entire barn sometimes just to get in the front door, because it's all sitting back here. So you have to think about other brands and things like a yacht or fine cigars or fine wines, and go out to those avenues and make connections and get yourself some exposure and show yourself as an authority in similar industries from what your people are interested in. So really spend some time thinking about what not only your customers want and need, but what else they do that you could target them through. One of the things that I think people overlook a lot on Pinterest is they'll search for something in the search box and just only look at pins. People that create boards about something that they're so passionate about, they've committed a board and they have jam-packed everything that they want. That clearly shows that they're interested in what you do. So skip the pins, go to the boards. You can also connect, find, and target people by clicking on the people button in your searches. Same with everything else. Same with Twitter, same with every other site. Just be as targeted as you can, cut to the chase, get right to the point, find the people that matter.
Number 2 is to use apps. Shannon, are you going to help us with this one as well?
Yes. So the only thing Facebook will let you do to set yourself apart, which is actually a good thing. Some people feel like they're put in a box with Facebook, but one of the reasons Facebook is successful is because everybody knows where to go. Remember when MySpace they had too much shit going on, and there were too many things that you had to look through and filter through, and so that's actually a good thing about Facebook. So what am I talking about? Oh, apps. So you want to use those apps, which are those 8 boxes below your cover photo. That's where you get your customization. So do things like if you're using Pinterest, use a Pinterest app on your Facebook page. So when somebody loves what you said on Facebook, they're going to go to your app section and connect with you on your Twitter app, your Pinterest app. You can even do music apps. You can have people sign up for your email newsletters directly on your Facebook page. You can do custom HTML. You can replicate a web page. So really use those to give people more and give them another opportunity to connect with you. And on the resource slide is a couple of different app building sites. They're all great. They're all wonderful. It depends on how many customers you have, how many pages you're working with. Some you pay by the page. Some you pay. They're all laid out differently. So find the one that makes sense to you and that you like the navigation and that gives you the apps that you want, and roll with that. And the most important thing to know about apps is this is where you run your contests. This is where you run your promotions. So instead of saying, if you do this, then you're going to get this on the wall, do it through an app.
Okay, next is profile customization. Jen?
Yeah, actually, Shannon just touched on this a little bit. So this is your face. I mean, we all get up every morning and carefully select what we put on, how we do our hair, in women's case, how we do our makeup, what jewelry you wear, that kind of stuff. This is your face out in the online world. Can you go back one, Janine? Sorry. So for this one, for example, we've talked about what you can't do in your main profile picture. This is creative in this particular instance because they tell you all in one fell swoop that they serve wine, they have great food, and an awesome environment to sit in. So get creative with your profile picture, and please make sure it fits. If you have a giant stretched out face on your front, that's one of my biggest pet peeves, is making sure that it fits the box, but also, again, tells people something about you. This is a place where, like I said, you can get creative. You don't just have to have a standard, type picture. You can create, actually for our site, Ebove and Beyond, I had a girl that works for me, as a matter of fact, create sort of it's got pictures of all of us, and it's a little bit more interesting than just slapping up some plain old picture. I think it tells a story, it introduces my team, it lets you know who we are, how many of us there are, and that kind of stuff. So it's very informative. So get creative. And the same thing with Twitter. Don't leave a blank background or the one that comes with it. Again, this is like getting dressed. It's like give yourself some personality. Don't just fade away because you haven't created personality for yourself. the resources. I'm not going to read through these to you. You will have them. They're very, very informative, though, in terms of the sizes of all of the different graphics and all of the different areas where you need to customize. So again, not going to read those to you.
Okay. And let's see, yeah, we've got tons of them. The next thing to do to customize is the way you share. So Jen, you're going to help us with that?
Me again. So this is like kindergarten. Share, 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 share. We all learn to share. Make it easy to share. Put sharing buttons everywhere. Think about it in your emails. Think about it in your blogs. Think about it on your homepage. Think about it everywhere you can. Make it easy. Don't let someone think for a second, wow, this is really neat, and then you're asking them to go figure out how to share it, where to go, what to do. Make it easy. Make it, again, it's back to that relationship, but the sharing part, make it easy for them to share, because you benefit, they feel good about it, and so it just keeps the whole social aspect going.
And make sure all the buttons work.
Oh, yes.
Does it ever make you more crazy than to try and click on something to share it and you get some bizarre error message? I hate that.
Amen.
So like Mike, here's yours with shopping bargains, clear and easy to share, the way you've got it loaded up on there. And
Yeah, these are
share
some
on blog
examples.
posts.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
So you can see an affiliate window, gee, darn, we had to use that as an example. That's my company. And also the individual platform buttons on the websites. So we've got a whole list of resources that are included in the slideshow for you. Number 5 is set yourself apart. Mike?
Yes. Excuse me. There are some great ways to set yourself apart. Some are free, and there's some really neat on the next. Actually, that you had it, Jenny. The custom Facebook like buttons. Those came from inboundnow.com. They're free, and so it attracts a little bit of attention. It's not just a standard like button, but it's kind of jazzed up quite a bit. So those are free. You can take advantage of those. You can do custom Twitter landing pages, and a great resource for that. If you don't want to do your own, you can go to Fiverr, Fiverr.com, and for $5, there's people that will make one for you. And so great opportunity. Social landing pages. The picture up there is from unbounce.com, and there's a monthly fee, I think, for some of the premium accounts there, but you can point your social media accounts to a landing page, and maybe if they're coming from Twitter, they can see your Facebook, your LinkedIn, all the other accounts as well. And it's just a really nice thing to do about that. Easy and convenient. Or you could build your own on your website as well. Infographics, really powerful. They get left brain and right brain people, because you have pictures, text. It's all combined in a visually appealing way that's easy to share, easy to pin, easy to tweet, easy to blog about. Facebook, it covers all the bases. It's great. And one thing, a little tip about Pinterest, if you have an unusually sized image, it gets more attention because it's going to be longer or something's going to be different about it. People might have to click on the image itself to expand it a little bit, so you get some more interaction that way. So that's just a quick tip about that. And then we've got a whole bunch of resources up here. Some of the ones I just talked about, just really worth looking at. And, just things to set yourself apart and be different, just really important.
And so finally, our last point on this to customize is to get outside the box. So Shannon's going to finish up for us.
So to continue to customize and set yourself apart, look at what your competition's doing, again, and do it better. Look at what other people are doing. Go fan people with multi-million-dollar marketing budgets. See what they're doing and see how you can apply it to yourself, or see how you can do anything that doesn't make you sound like the last guy. Like, why am I going to connect with you if I don't know you? I hope you have amazing content. I hope you use a lot of images. I hope you're funny as all get out. But try really hard to figure out that one thing about your niche that sets you apart, whatever it is. If it's about your employees, if it's about your product, whatever it is, try to set yourself apart. And by doing things that other people don't do, everything doesn't have to be about technology, which I know is strange if you know me, because I have a device in my hands at all time, and I'm pretty sure I'd start twitching if I didn't. However, don't underestimate the value of a handwritten thank you note. Nobody sends a handwritten thank you note anymore, so if you want to stand out, it takes 5 minutes door to door to write a thank you note. From writing it, addressing it, stamping it, it's 5 minutes. Everybody has 5 minutes. and you feel good about yourself when you write a thank you note. So set yourself apart by going old school. Pick up the phone and call somebody. Who's done that lately? You don't have to do everything to be involved with social media on the internet and through these tools. Some other ideas are put your social icons every single place that you can. Put them on printed material. Open your mouth and tell people. If somebody says Facebook under any circumstances, that's a very nice, easy way for you to get your foot in the door and say, oh my gosh, I have a Facebook page. Have you become a fan? Not because I need more fans, but let me tell you what I'm going to give you. Let me tell you what you're going to get out of it on my Facebook page. Anytime it comes up in conversation, use that as an opportunity to get your foot in the door. There's a site called Jack Prints that has these things called Favacards, just favacards.com. They're little tiny square social media cards that have your social media addresses listed on them. And they, if I can find one quickly, I'll show you, but they just show your social media addresses. So if you are, right now when you hand somebody a business card, they feel like they're about to be sold because a business card is about doing business. But if you hand them these cute little social cards that are square with cute rounded corners, they fit in your jeans pocket, then people, again, aren't in the mindset where they're feeling they're going to be sold. And if you have a situation to give them that at a networking event or anywhere, instead of taking that point to ask people to connect on your Facebook page, take it one step further and give them something in their hand to take home to connect with you when they want to. And chances are when they have their feet on the coffee table and they're in their bathrobe, then they're going to sit down and connect with you from those items on that little card. Some other things you can do are if people call you, change your hold message or add to the end of your hold message, hey, did you know we're on Facebook? We'd love to have you in our community. Join us there. They got nothing else to do because they're waiting on you, so you might as well give them the opportunity for a couple seconds just to jump on the computer and connect with you. So just think anything you can do to set yourself apart, anything you can do to stand out without being obnoxious. Be kind, be friendly, be genuine, and sell your product somewhere else other than social media, and I think you'll be very, very successful.
Great, thank you. Well, this is our contact information. We're happy to, of course, share our Twitter handles, our email addresses, and anything else. We're all up here with our business cards and all that kind of good stuff. So that's the end of the formal presentation. We're getting close to the end here, but we're happy to take questions. We don't want anybody to feel obligated. If you want to leave your card also with the gentleman by the door, if you have to leave now for another appointment or whatever, he'll make sure that I get them too, or you can bring them up to me to get a copy of this. Thank you, everyone, so much for coming. Thank you, panelists. Appreciate it. Are there any questions? Because we'll be glad to answer some now, whether they leave the lights on or not. We'll keep answering them if that helps. We good? Okay. Yes? I'll repeat it for you.
Okay. I was just wondering in terms of sharing on all the different social media sites. I know some people have said, if I'm following you on Facebook and Twitter and Pinterest, I don't want to see the same, pin, even if it's the same content. You write it a little bit like, I already got that information. I've sometimes thought, maybe I'll Facebook it and then I'll pin it later and then I'll tweet it later, and that kind of goes against the automating.
How to avoid social media duplicate content, right? Shannon?
So that's a great strategy. If you don't have the time and you have to automate it, that's one thing. But it's always better to take that one thing and spread it out across as many sites as you can, because you want the information to be there on the site that they want when they want to find it. But if you can spread it out and not jam pack it all, you're exactly right. The people that the overposters, it's annoying if you use social media a lot and you bounce around from Twitter to Pinterest to Facebook. So absolutely spread it out, and don't miss the opportunity to use that message on another platform. Maybe you change it up. Maybe, if you think about Twitter, it's 140 characters. You have to get to the point and get to it quickly. Pinterest, on the other hand, you get their first impression with an image. Take that image description and teach them something about the image that you're showing them. Educate them or tell them why you're showing it to them. So you're kind of using the same thing, but you're customizing it to what people want on that platform. So get quick and dirty on Twitter and describe your pin on Pinterest and on Facebook. You can elaborate a little bit more. But again, don't elaborate too much because people are so ADD right now. They're only scanning. and you need your content to pop and to stand out. So,
So if you write a blog post,
yes.
you want to get that to be seen, but, you frame it differently for each of the different social media applications. And you would also recommend doing it at different times, rather than.
That's it. That's another good point.
all on the same.
Yeah, because your times for Twitter are not the best times for your blog. So if you start with the blog, which has the most amount of content, then take that, then move to Facebook, post a link from your blog manually to Facebook, and tell them why you want them to read it. Give them the short version of why they're going to learn. Because people that like to read blogs like detail and they want to read this much information. People that want Facebook, it can't be invasive and it can't be too much information, but tell them what they're going to get and then give them the opportunity to read more if they want. Squeeze that down a little bit more for Twitter, and then for that same blog post, pin an image from your blog onto Pinterest. And if for no other reason you want to do that, because the source of that URL or the source of that image is your blog. So when that runs around Pinterest like wildfire, because that's what we women do, it runs around like wildfire, then your blog is now running all around the internet. So that would be my strategy from top to bottom.
Yeah. And put your blog URL in the content area for Pinterest as well. And one other thing about Twitter, I think go ahead and put your title, but if you have an infographic, put in brackets infographic in the tweet, and I think you get more attention that way.
That's a good idea. That's a great point, because when people are looking for things on Pinterest, this is another thing people forget. If you like funny quotes or something on Pinterest, or if you pin, like Jen has an amazing quote on her homepage of her website about strategy, if she were to pin that on her Pinterest account, Pinterest doesn't know those are words. It's an image. So in your description, repeat what the words are in text, because that's how people find your information. That's what's searchable.
And one other thing, when you're preparing your tweets, if you're going to have a link to something, don't put it right at the very end. If you actually incorporate it and surround it with text as opposed to at the very end, it's got a higher click-through rate. So, don't just leave it hanging. Make it part of it. People will click on it more. Any other questions? Yes.
Can you just outline a little bit more on the complaint chart? Like, if they constantly ask the same exact question, and like you guys looked at it and be like, oh, like that, I answered this like 20 times. Can you just like reword that or just touch on
Yeah.
that?
Outline on how to use the complaint chart.
So do you have something that comes to mind of something that people say over and over that drives you nuts that you can say in public?
Just like on our terms and conditions, we list on if they want to make a deposit in regards to something, put an IIG in regards to that. Well, we get constant phone calls and our customer service representatives where, why isn't it listed? Well, it is listed, but they don't read everything.
So
how
people aren't always reading your terms and conditions, and so they're constantly calling you to ask about it. So how can you use the complaint jar as a positive to help them start following the directions instead of calling you all the time? Makes
So
sense.
you just flip that around and tell them in a post somewhere where it's most appropriate how to find it. So if they're complaining about they can't find something, then say, this is, just this is where you find it, and either give them directions or give them a link and make it easy for them. But I'll tell you something that I learned yesterday in a session. That's a symptom. So you need to back up all the way up to the top level and think, why is that happening? And if it's happening over and over and over, back up to the high level of maybe it's not in a good place. Maybe you need to change something about that, because if it happens over and over and over, clearly you got an issue somewhere. So I would take both of those things into consideration, but just flip it around into, if you know people can't find it, say this is where you find it. Or move it and see if it goes away.
Are we good there?
Do
Okay,
we have one
good.
in the-
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes.
Yeah, I have a question about varying social media platforms. Obviously, between Facebook, Twitter, and Pinterest, it seems those are the most going now with the users. Demographics are obviously different. Pinterest is mostly female heavy, whereas, and also sharing wise, Twitter mostly users are business hours or online. Facebook shares tend to go up around 6, 7 o'clock, somewhere there. But the question is, there are so many different social media platforms now. Besides those 3 main giant ones, obviously the Stumble, Comic, Dig, there's Google Plus, there's so many of them.
Tell me about it.
Aside from the main 3, which do you guys think recommend are the best to use to go further disseminate what you're putting out? Obviously Google Plus is coming up with I think users 60 billion somewhere in there. Which lower social media networks do you recommend as the best ones to get on and keep following? And obviously you don't want to fall on a trend, except to monitor what's going on.
Okay, so his question was, in addition to the most popular of the social media platforms that we all know about, the Twitter, the Facebook, the LinkedIn, what are some of the other ones that are up and coming or might be very powerful to use as well, depending on your opportunity?
So the first thing you need to think about is what you do. If you sell to women, you're crazy if you're not on Pinterest. If you connect with executives, you need to be on Twitter. You need to be on LinkedIn as well. So really think about what you do before you decide what platform. I think every single person in this room should have a LinkedIn profile. LinkedIn is not about looking for a job. It's not about hiring people. LinkedIn is about, it is all business all the time. So set up a profile, fill it out as completely as you can, put a picture, and then that's one of those things that you can't, if you choose to, you can a little bit kind of almost set it and forget it. Put up your LinkedIn profile, make it amazing, because that's out there working for you all the time, and unless you change jobs, you don't have to do a lot of updates. If you want to take that one step further, if this applies to your niche or your industry, then it's an amazing place to join groups. It's an amazing thing to bring into your sales process. So I'm gonna tell a short little story. So if you are going to, if you're going to trying to connect with somebody, if you're chasing somebody down that you want to meet and get to know, you don't start on LinkedIn by sending them a request and say, I'd like to get to know you. Of course you would. Everybody wants to get to know that person because they're busy. So if you get a meeting with somebody, that's when you want to follow up with them afterwards and say, it was so great to meet you. And after you do that, learn every single thing you can about that person so that the next time you meet them, if they like golf, if they like wine, if they like food, don't be an ass and go in there the next time and say, hey, do you want to go play golf because you like to play golf? If they like food, take them out to dinner. So that's another tie-in to listening and sharing and all that. So anyway, if you're all business all the time, LinkedIn. If your customer, the person you're trying to connect with, is ADD, short-term, likes to get things, a lot of information in a short period of time, that's Twitter. And we haven't talked about YouTube at all. YouTube, second most powerful search engine, an unbelievable way to help people get to know you as a person. You can tell a story so much more passionately on YouTube than you can with a bunch of words, links, and text and pictures. YouTube is an amazing tool, and sorry we didn't talk about that more. But I kind of stick to
Tumblr or anything like that?
Tumblr if you have a younger demographic. But I'm pretty much a big fan of LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube, Google Plus, all just the big ones.
Yeah, one other thing I would recommend, which I recommend in anything that you do, but testing is really important. I think you could easily answer your own question based on, like Shannon said, what your product is, where is your audience. That's the first thought. And you could actually probably take one specific post, run it through those, and see which one is more adaptable to, because I really think it is a case-by-case basis.
And I'll say, too, that it's better to do 2 sites really well than it is to sign up for 5 sites and kind of do them halfway. So keep that disclaimer in mind as well.
Yes.
Yes, I run a divorce site, and I just have people come in and post comments from 2 different viewpoints. And I had the image that I put into Pinterest, and then suddenly the comments on Pinterest started being comments that you prefer to have on your blog, and say, 2 different viewpoints. So I just was wondering, it was just something that took me by surprise. So I'm just wondering, when you have controversial comments on Pinterest, any advice there? Should I go in, maybe put a comment also, and put a link back to my blog again? I think that's kind of obvious, but I just wondered if it's getting out of hand.
So controversial comments on Pinterest, how do you manage them best?
I tried Pinterest, and then I thought, what if Pinterest takes down an image? Now I've lost all of my.
Oh, yeah. And also to avoid being removed from Pinterest because of how the conversation's going.
I think controversy is actually healthy sometimes. A healthy debate is okay, and especially with a sensitive subject like that, because so many people get divorced for so many different reasons. So I would make sure that you're not ignoring it, and this is an incredible opportunity for you to jump into the conversation and show what you're good at, have them connect back to your blog. I would even take some of those things and write a blog post right away, just so you can link back to the blog. You can answer their question or answer their concern by linking back to your blog post. But I don't think that controversy is bad, and also what kind of
if it's starting to get out of hand? Because it sounds like, I'm going to guess that since your topic is divorce on Pinterest, it probably gets pretty intense
and
emotionally.
emotional, and
Yeah,
if it
so-
starts getting in an unhealthy emotional direction, then I mean, you're the moderator. Stand up and say, you know what, thank you so much. I'm so glad that this inspired people to say things and to give their opinion, but this really isn't the place. I would love to help you either privately with a phone call, whatever it is that you can do to get them to knock it off. Because unfortunately, people love to whine on the internet. That's their new thing, is to complain out loud. And if I can take a sidebar, because that's what I do. People ask me all the time about, what do you do with a negative comment? If you get a negative comment, don't delete it unless it is just blatantly abusive. If it's a comment from the person that goes home and kicks their dog every day anyway because they hate their life and it has no value whatsoever, delete it. However, a negative comment is an opportunity to show that yes, you have problems, but you fix them and you address them. That makes you human. And if you have an issue that you show that you resolved, that's going to give people the comfort level of, oh, well, if I have a mistake, or if I have a problem, they're clearly going to take care of it for me. So just, again, think about it like a relationship. Don't ignore it and run away. In your situation, deal with it the best you can. But if you have to be a little bit firm and say, you know, this really isn't the right platform, you know, Pinterest is meant to be fun and lighthearted. I appreciate you getting the conversation going, but let's take this to a forum. Let's take this offline. Take it to Google+, you know, go somewhere else.
I also run the Front Range Bloggers Meetup, and we have a lot of people that ask this question a lot. And kind of the advice that we give them is, you know, you can kind of think of your blog or your site as like your living room. And if you wouldn't tolerate that behavior in your living room, you don't have to tolerate it online, you know, if they cross the line. I think Shannon's point is excellent about, you know, it's good if you address things if there were problems. But if somebody starts getting, you know, too negative, too abusive or something like that, you're not under any obligation to keep them either. So don't feel guilty if there's somebody you deleted for a very good reason. Not just because you didn't like them, but for a very good reason. Yes?
Yes, can you recommend any good social media forums where you might be able to interact with people who are actively doing social media things?
Good social media forums?
Yeah, I mean, because I also try to find somebody who can do social media for you. So I'm trying to find places to do that, and Elance is not.
Resources and things like that where you might be able to learn from other pros.
Questions as well as maybe connect with some people who do some forums.
Okay.
So I would say InboxQ, Quora, and then I would also say
How do you spell Quora?
Quora. And I would literally Google that and then put what you do after that. Not to be smart, but I'd go directly to the source and say forums on what you do.
Oh, you can do that
For
in
social media?
Inbox, Q, or Quora?
Oh, so I gave you two different sites that you can use, and then additionally Google forums for whatever your niche is or what you do.
And then look in there to see if there's
And
social
look in
media
there.
experts.
And that's, you know, if you have any downtime, like if you have a customer that, or if you have an appointment or whatever, that you finish up your work, you've got 15 minutes until the next thing happens, or somebody's running late, use that time to do exactly what you're doing, talking about get on a forum, answer some questions, show yourself as an expert, show yourself as an authority, and help somebody. Because social media is a lot like good karma. If you give and give and give, it's going to come back to you. And the more you give, the more comfortable people feel. It breaks down their barriers, and they're especially women are more likely to connect with somebody that gave them free helpful advice. Because if you give me free advice, I'm not going to go pick the guy on the first or second page of Google. I'm going to pick the guy that helped me, somebody that answered my question. That's where my loyalty is going to lie, and that's such an easy thing to do. So I encourage you to do that as much as you can.
I see our chief executive shopper nodding in agreement.
That's right. Some people post a great image on Pinterest, but they say, I have no idea where to buy this. Now you got a chance. You know, you got your opening if you sell it. And I would also recommend don't just answer only the things you sell, but answer other questions, you know, where somebody else, they can get it somewhere else as well, so that you build up credibility, that you're not just promoting yourself all the time, but you're actually helping people.
As in, don't over-promote. Okay, are there any other questions? Yes?
Actually, that brings me to another question. If let's say I was an affiliate for a product and you pin the product, can I repin, it's an admin question, if I repin your image, can I go ahead and throw up my affiliate link?
So repinning something that's already up there that perhaps is from another affiliate, can you repin it? And
Not necessarily
from an
affiliate, because I would love to see that would be really love.
there's some people out there.
Just so that who loves this cake site. And
Okay.
I'm like, oh, I'm their affiliate, that's a great image, and I want to give them the credit as a repin, then can I put my affiliate again?
So you'd be putting up the first affiliate link when you repin a picture of something that you might have available. Can you do that?
Yeah, putting my affiliate link to somebody else's original.
As far as I know, you
can,
can, but
um,
they're going to know you did it.
Right,
So,
that's what I'm asking as far as
you know, you might be burning some bridges in there, but
I think
yes.
there's a way around that. I think as long as you remember that you're doing that to provide a solution or to give free, helpful advice, depending on the situation, if you could find a way to, I don't know, maybe thank that person or leave them a comment, or just act like a human, ask them, hey, this is a great pen, like, how would you like for me to give you credit in order for me to put this? Is this okay with you? And then you never know what you're going to learn and what kind of relationship could come from the person that you pinned it from, because you clearly have something in common. So,
And they may be an affiliate, and you don't, I mean, you may not have any way of knowing without asking, and then, yeah, there's going to be some slugfest over that.
and because we're Southern, we're always going to say, like, before you hurt somebody's feelings or before you offend somebody, you need to ask the question.
That's right, I have 3 Southerners here, don't I?
Oh, that's right, we're all Southern.
I'm not. I'm Midwest. So anyway, we're going to go ahead and wrap it up right now. And if you've got any other questions, we're going to be up here for a while. Thank you again so much for coming, and I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you.